had the honor and privilege of working with Raymond when I first joined the school district in 2006. And as many of you know this already, Raymond was always there for a very kind smile, and his laughter was just, he could make everyone laugh. I'd also like to once again thank the McNeil High School Show Choir for performing this morning, and I'd like to recognize a few individuals in the audience. First, the Hartfield family, Raymond's wife, Ann, his daughter, Elizabeth, and her family, and his son, Phillip, and his family. Thank you for being here with us.
We have a destination school district. I think a lot of people know that, and that is because of leaders like Raymond Hartfield, who put students first and who made education the most important priority in the community. And he lived his life that way. And one of the things that I know, as we continue in that legacy, we talk about moving from first class to world class, because we had individuals like that who charted the course and have paved the path for us to improve on a very good product, and that's the Round Rock Independent School District. Just a very short personal experience from Raymond Hartfield. I'll always know Raymond as my first board president. My first board president. The reason for that is because you may not know, that's kind of a trivia question. I was superintendent of Round Rock for a month and a half. And the way this happened was kind of peculiar. I had already signed, sealed, and delivered to Dallas as the deputy superintendent, but something strange happened. Not all things happen the way things are charted to do, or there's not a script that says this is how it's going to go. Change happens. So there was going to be it's a long story, but let me just get to the point. Didn't happen on a Thursday night to name an interim. So on Friday morning, the one time I was playing golf, I was at Star Ranch, and I see the phone ringing, and it's Mr. Hartfield. And Mr. Hartfield says, "Steve, I need you to think about something." I said, "Yes, Mr. Hartfield, what can," he always, "Call me Raymond." I said, "No, you're Mr. Hartfield." And with so many board members here, I feel like I'm in a session right now. So anyway, back to that story, he says, "You know, Steve, just want you to know you've got the attributes to be the interim, you've got the attributes to be the superintendent." And he went on, I said, "Mr. Hartfield, I'm going to be going to Dallas. I haven't shared that with anyone yet. I made that commitment." He says, "Well, Steve, I'll tell you what, why don't you be the acting superintendent?" And I said, "You know, I can't do that because I might like it so much that I might not ever want to relinquish that role." But this is what he said. He said, "Steve, on Wednesday, principals report for their first day of duty. What do you think it'd be like to come back to a leaderless group?" And I thought about that, and I said, you know, I don't know what it'd be like. I'd hate that if I were a principal, because I think like a principal. And I thought, I'd hate that. So let me think about that, Mr. Hartfield. If you can get posted 72 hours later, if you can get a 7-0 vote on that, I'll be glad to do whatever I need to do. So sure enough, it happened. So when I speak of Raymond Hartfield, I think of President Hartfield. No offense, President Hanna, no offense. But he will always be that way for us. So again, that's a way I remember Raymond. And last week, there was a Memoriam Scholarship, our Pi Education Foundation. And I'm not going to get choked up today because I'm prepared. Actually, there were 3 individuals in Memoriam who really were touching tribute. A student, Justin Bowen, who passed just 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, who grew up with my son, and then Lily Delgado, who was the first board secretary for me as the superintendent, and then of course Mr. Raymond Hartfield. So when I saw them out of 8 Memoriam scholarships, I said, whoa, what a personal tribute, and it hit me, and as a result, you know, there were tears that cry. I don't cry often. But I did that day. But today it's not about crying, it's about honoring. It's honoring the legacy, and what a wonderful facility that we have here in Round Rock ISD, and a permanent affixing of a name such as Raymond Hartfield. So I don't, all the bond presentations, I've made 32 of them, I don't speak of the bond, I don't speak of the Performing Arts Center without saying the Raymond Hartfield Performing Arts Center. But today, it'll be official, and the legacy will continue. So, you know, the little ones, as long as they grow, they'll be older than, you know, and that name will stay affixed to a building. So what a wonderful legacy for a man not only who loved kids, but loved the entire community. So thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
So for those of you that know me, I am kind of an emotional guy. Today might, in fact, be about crying. Let's hope not. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to start with bringing the family up, or at least we've got a lot of little 2-foot hecklers running around here. And I wanted to just introduce the family just real briefly. So my mom, you just want to wave? And my Aunt Kathy. Come here. You embarrassed? This is Griffin. You want to go to Mom? This is my wife, Kim, and I'll move through these just real quick. This is my wife, Kim. This is my sister and her daughter, Brooklyn. My Uncle Junie, my cousin Katie, her husband Tyler. This is my daughter Kennedy. This is my niece Jenna. And back here in the back is my son Miller. All right, thank you guys for indulging me. So, most of you knew and worked with my father in some capacity or another for a very long time, so you probably know the backstory. But my dad was born and raised in a very rural, very poor part of Mississippi. And he saw, at a very early age, from what I understand, kind of education and fine arts as a way to improve his position, right? And to create opportunities for himself and as a byproduct, opportunities for others. And so I remember story after story of how hard my dad worked and put himself through school and was dedicated to band and the fine arts, and eventually became the first member of his family to not only graduate but to attend college. And so I always thought that was just an incredible passion and drive that my dad had from a very early age. And so with his commitment to fine arts and to just community service in general, he kind of continued that into his professional life as well. So as many of you know, my dad dedicated himself to community service, right? And specifically, he was very focused on ensuring that every child had access to the best quality education possible, right? And I believe truly because some of that was because of his own personal experience. And he genuinely loved people, and he truly believed that the quality of one's life and subsequently contribution then to society could be fueled by education and by exposure to the fine arts. And so with that in mind, this is it's an incredible tribute to my dad. And I can't even begin to tell you how humbled and honored our family is. So, thank you all very much. We appreciate it. And now for the shameless plug. I made it through. So, as many of you also know, we started in partnership with RRISD, Partners in Education. We started a memorial scholarship fund in my dad's name. For a couple of years now, we've had a golf tournament and other fundraising events, and we've had the good fortune to be able to provide, I think now 5 scholarships to really deserving students within the school district. And it's amazing to be a part of that process. It's amazing to be able to carry on my dad's legacy. We do have some flyers here, so if you're interested in participating, helping in any way possible, it is truly an incredible cause. And I can tell you, with this last round, as well as the round of scholarship applicants that we received in 2013, to echo Dr. Flores' comments, based on the quality of those scholarships, everyone who is involved in this community and who is involved in the school district and educating these kids, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. There are just some really quality students that are coming out of the school district. So thank you.
There are many great reasons why today we are naming this former PAC the Raymond E. Hartfield Performing Arts Center. As a tribute to Raymond, I wanted to review a few of the reasons why we're doing so. I first came to meet Raymond really through Ann, his wife, and this was in the 80s while we were here the first time. Ann was very involved with PTA, as you may know. Her children, attended Deepwood and Chisholm Trail and went on to Round Rock High School. But Ann was not only involved with her local PTA, she moved through the ranks, various offices that she held, moved on to become involved in the district council, which is again the organization of all PTAs in the district, and rose to the level of its president. And so it was through Ann that I got to meet Raymond. They both were very involved in their children's education. Although Raymond, during those years, took kind of a background, behind the scene kind of role, involved in the school and in his children's education, but really let the light shine on Ann. And of course, as we know, Ann, when she puts her mind to it, whatever she undertakes, she does a tremendous job. Raymond, as you think about that, to me, what brings to my mind is being a good husband and a good father. So that's one of the reasons we're naming this facility after Raymond. When I was superintendent in Harlingen and later in Corpus Christi, I would see Raymond. I'd always kind of keep track of the board members for Round Rock ISD, and I would see Raymond at the training sessions, the different conferences. See, Raymond was always one who was wanting to learn more. And I know in all of us, he instilled that desire to be lifelong learners. When the job of superintendent became open here in Round Rock, I didn't really think of applying at the beginning, although there were a number of calls that I received from friends of mine here in Round Rock, from the search firm. Some of these folks have a tendency to give some people a call. But I also received a phone call from Raymond, who was then the board president. And it was through his encouragement and the encouragement of other friends here in Round Rock that I decided to apply. You see, unbeknown to me, Raymond had been tracking my career. When named superintendent, Raymond became my mentor, my guide, my advisor. You heard today the special relationship that a superintendent has with a board president, and that's very true of myself and Raymond and the other presidents that I have served with. But Raymond knew that having this district be a successful district meant we were going to have great students, great education, and great success from our students in our schools. Raymond loved this Round Rock ISD community. And Raymond was the kind of individual who would give his shirt off his back and give it to you and say, here, you need it more than I do. Raymond was there whenever you needed him. In fact, I think all of us here in the community know that when the community called, Raymond was there for us. And I tell you, this community called lots and lots of times. When ACC called, Raymond E. Hartfield responded. He was the co-chair of the Action for Education Committee that brought Austin Community College to Round Rock ISD. Now, Raymond was a very smart fellow, and I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes, but he also was very creative, and I don't know whether he thought about this or not, but I thought I wanted to highlight it because it really showed the kind of individual and the creativity that he had. Action for Education. Action spelled A-C-C-T-I-O-N, all right? Now, I don't know whether he came up with that, but that was the kind of individual that he was with regards to creativity. So Action for Education, ACC. ACC has helped thousands of students and will continue to help thousands of students in the future. Raymond was about seeing our youth and our community succeed. Raymond was also very active in the business community, and for that role, he was recognized by the Round Rock Chamber as the Citizen of the Year for 2010. I was there, and I was so proud of Raymond that special evening. You might remember that special picture where he was holding his beautiful grandchild as he was receiving the award. I still have great memories about that evening. Raymond E. Hartfield gave back to his community. He served on many boards, including the YMCA of Greater Williamson County, Skill Point Alliance, St. David's Medical Center, and the Texas State Advisory Board. When his community called, Raymond responded. During his AT&T years, Raymond taught and mentored other board members and other superintendents. You may not have known that, but there were many evenings, many weekends, when Raymond spent helping other school districts be as great as they could be. But that was normal for Raymond, you see. He never expected anything in return. Raymond was a very smart man, as I indicated. He graduated from the University of Southern Mississippi with a degree in music. As our students were singing here today, I couldn't think other than to say, hey, Raymond, you're smiling on us and enjoying this beautiful music. But he also had degrees in chemistry and physics and was a scientist too. Now, being from Mississippi, there are lots of stories I could tell you that he told, but we're going to leave that for another occasion. Raymond was a teacher. For 7 years, he taught high school science, and for 2 years, he taught undergraduate physics. You may not know that he owned a number of patents. So music, creativity, that's something that we know brings great success to people. Raymond was a very creative gentleman. Raymond served on the Board of Trustees for 14 years, and for that reason, his name appears on our flag in the boardroom. Most of us know that Raymond had a great sense of humor and was very witty. At any social event, and that's been already said, he definitely would have everyone in that room and everyone around the table laughing. There's no doubt that Raymond loved family. So let me see here. Raymond was a good husband and a good father. Raymond encouraged continued learning for all of us. Raymond loved this Round Rock ISD community, and Raymond was the kind of individual who would give his shirt off his back. Raymond was there whenever you needed him. Raymond was active in the business community. He gave back and helped his community. Raymond was a very smart man. Raymond taught and mentored other members of the board and superintendents. Raymond served this community for 14 years as a board member, a number of times as its president. Raymond loved people, Raymond was a teacher, and Raymond, above all, loved music and the arts and its students. For these reasons and many more, it is my privilege and honor to have sat as superintendent when, on September 19, 2013, the Board of Trustees named this facility the Raymond E. Hartfield Performing Arts Center. I cannot think of any other individual that is more deserving than Raymond E. Hartfield. Raymond, congratulations. You make us very proud. Thank you all so very much.
Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you all for being here today as we honor our friend and colleague, Raymond Hartfield, with this dedication. It was with great pleasure and enthusiasm that we did vote to rename this building the Raymond E. Hartfield Performing Arts Center. I did not have the pleasure of serving on the board with Raymond. I knew him. I knew of him. I knew of his great reputation in the community for championing the causes of education and the cause of arts education for our children. But I actually got to know Raymond in 2008 when he and I co-chaired the political action committee that was formed to promote the 2008 bond package. That was one of those times, as Dr. Chávez said, that the community called. We told Raymond we really needed him, and he stepped up and helped us with that effort, which was successful, by the way. I learned then what many of you already knew. Raymond never stopped being an educator. Through that whole process of co-chairing with him, as we led the group, he also wanted to make sure I was learning these important things about this process as we went. He also never stopped being passionate about education and about making sure that every child in this district had the opportunity and access to the highest quality of education possible, including fine arts education. I have 3 quotes for you. The first is Annette Bird, a consultant formerly of GlaxoSmithKline. Annette Bird said, "We need people who think with the creative side of their brains, people who have played in a band, who have painted. It enhances symbiotic thinking capabilities, not always thinking in the same paradigm, learning how to kickstart a new idea, or how to get a job done better, less expensively." Raymond exemplified this concept. He was truly a Renaissance man, as Dr. Chávez said, with degrees in arts, physics, chemistry, a master's degree in geophysics. He was a band director and a science teacher before he came to Round Rock. Or I should say before Round Rock was lucky enough to have Raymond join our community. Raymond knew from his own experience, as we've heard, how critical creativity was to educating our children. The second quote is by musician Isaac Stern. "The greatest wealth of this nation is not only the mergers of giant corporations or the possibility of further globalization of the infrastructure of this world. In the United States, our greatest single source of wealth is the minds and talent of our young people. Not to use it is stupid, to waste it is a crime." Raymond lived this. He invested his own human capital and creativity in making education better for all of the young people in our community, and especially the young people around Rock ISD. And finally, the third quote is from Raymond himself, and I found it recently when I was going back through our email correspondence during the 2008 bond campaign. It was in a note to Arnold Garcia, who was then the editor of the Austin American-Statesman, and it was thanking Mr. Garcia for the Statesman's endorsement of our bond propositions. And Raymond said, "It's easy to determine the financial impact of a bond, but it takes more work and effort to determine the value school bonds will have on the community and the children. Your decision to endorse these school propositions means a great deal to those who are promoting them, but most of all to the little citizens who cannot yet go to the polls and vote for what they really need." I think it is these little citizens who will benefit the most from Raymond's life work. And I think it is very fitting that the little citizens who come through these doors in the future to sing, to dance, to act, to create music, to express themselves creatively through the arts, will do so now under Raymond Hartfield's loving gaze. Thank you very much.
Yes,